Hello, I'm Marc, host of the Channel Chat podcast show, and this is a special series during this COVID crisis where we'll be sharing the learnings, best practices, and failures and successes of all the channel leaders throughout the tech industry. So sit back, listen, and enjoy. Graham, I saw on LinkedIn today about the home working pack that you sent out to all your staff. What a great idea. Who came up with that, and what was the thinking behind it?
Okay, yeah. So what we looked at is being sort of people-centric company as we are, is a lot of people are going to be working at home now who've never worked at home before, and it's going to be quite challenging. In fact, this morning, I think this is my fifth, believe it or not, chat over video, and one of the things we came out with was could we help people work at home who've never done it before? And I think a lot of people get a bit steamed up about it, thinking it's going to be very official, and they've got to wear the right gear and all that. And as you can see, we're trying to make it as much fun as possible. So the home working pack includes things like how to actually stand up occasionally and do a bit of exercise, how to plan your day, and it may not be a 9-to-5 day anymore. It could be you've got to feed the kids 8 till 10 and all that. So we move around that, and it's also about keeping well. It's also what we expect people. We came up with a slogan that says "We don't care," and that's unusual for an employer to say that. But we don't care if, and it happened this morning. If we're talking and one of the lads stood up and his baby daughter ran across the screen, and we don't care. And if you have to go and answer the door to get a delivery, we don't care.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of trust in our team, and I think just giving that home welcome pack gave them a little bit more confidence about working from home. And so far, so good. We're 3 weeks in. We now have the Easter break, which will be different for people. And I think we'll be canvassing the team again for at the end of the month, just to see how they're feeling, because some people start feeling very awkward. And you've got 3 kids, husband and wives, or demanding. We're going to just test that people are still comfortable working from home. So in doing that for the staff, we thought, you know what, why don't we do that for the partners? So we've actually sent that out to our partners as well now, and they can actually use it as well. So it's been received pretty well.
What is your view on the VCs now, what they're going to be doing? Because will they be shipping lots of staff out, do you think, because of this crisis?
Yeah, it's going to be a challenging time. I think certainly we're seeing with the larger, more established vendors, some of them have already gone out with messaging to their team saying, look, we've been through a financial crisis without dropping any people. Currently there's no intentions to furlough people, and we're the same, although the furlough thing looks interesting, but when you read the small print, it's not to be taken lightly. You really have to prove there's a downturn, and then you're effectively making your staff redundant for a couple of weeks, which is not exactly what you're looking for. But I think you're right with the VCs. We're seeing a couple there who are actually saying, hang on, we've been planned. So it kind of falls into 2 areas. One is they're bringing companies forward who maybe have a feature and then actually looking for it to be bought in a couple of years' time or a year's time. And the others are sort of speculative that their product has got a feature that maybe people don't have at the moment. I won't talk about our particular people, but ones I have seen is certainly they're now suddenly looking at costs. And, when you're investing, you've got to get momentum in this market. And if people start looking at costs too early, especially when they've got money in the bank, I think it is sending the wrong messaging. And there is, it's the industry you're in. There's a shortage of really good people, really good proper salesmen out there.
Yeah.
And if you're starting to take a short-term view of these people, you may not get them back. So you've got to be very careful how you handle this.
Absolutely. Do you think the way we are working at the moment, using video conferencing, cutting down on face-to-face meetings, and the expenses involved with travel generally, will change the culture and the channel moving forward?
Yes, I think the straight answer is yes. I think for myself, I've never really used video conferencing, and now it's the norm. We always, being a distributor, like any business, you have to look at costs. And we would always challenge people, if they took a 3-hour train journey for the 2-hour meeting and came back, you'd always challenge them. Was that worthwhile? Now, knowing that the video system works so well, we would challenge them. But it's going to be interesting on the culture of people as well, because we're not big on checking up on people. We're very much trusting our guys and girls. But when you look at sort of a monthly report, in the old days, you'd say, how many meetings have you done? Tell me through those meetings.
Yeah.
So I think going forward, people should book video conferences in their calendar. And so when it's been reviewed, it's how many meetings you had and how many video conferences you had, because they're almost as effective as meetings. So definitely, if we've gone from, I think distribution more than any, and certainly this market's more than any, let's have a celebration, we have our thirsty clubs and all that sort of thing. And there still will be face-to-face stuff. But I think if we had 0 video before and 100% now, we're probably going to end up someone in the middle. So yes, it will change the way we work.
Yeah, great. Graham, have you had any feedback from any partner you're dealing with about specific struggles they might be having?
It's going to be difficult for any business, not just our business. Cash is going to be king, and that's something we're looking at. Everybody's running their own businesses. Certainly, if you were, say, into airlines or entertainment and that was your core business, you're going to have a real think at the moment. Is that where you want to be? The smaller VARs who maybe have 1 or 2 key customers and they suddenly slow up, that's going to hurt. The bigger ones at the moment, I see some good incentives coming out from, I don't like naming people, but some of the bigger VARs currently seem to be supporting their staff. But yeah, I think there will undoubtedly be some casualties, mainly on cash flow. Again, on cash flow, some of our partners are really helping us and we're passing that through. But I have seen some very bad behavior in the customer, the end user base, trying to take advantage of this and actually squeezing out an extra 20, 30 days payment or asking for an extra discount to pay on time. So we've got to be well aware, but anybody who runs a business knows cash is king, and that's going to be key the next couple of months, as always.
Absolutely. Graham, how are you educating your staff to act differently during this crisis?
Tricky balance, real tricky balance. I mean, for me, Q2 is kind of rolling, but Q3 and Q4, filling that funnel's key for us, for our partners, and obviously for the vendors. What we said to our team is just be very, very empathetic and sympathetic. If you could be calling somebody whose family member's critically ill or whose other partner's just been made redundant, we've had a couple in our team whose partners have been furloughed or made redundant already. So just be very, very sympathetic. Open up softly. How are you today? Usual stuff, but don't go straight into the kill. Have an early conversation, and if they want to back out, back out. So just be very tread carefully, because I had an idiot the other day trying to sell me rugby tickets. And I said, why are you trying to sell me rugby tickets at this stage? I said, understand, I'm running a business, blah, blah. What made it worse, he rang me back an hour later because his database system was screwed. So unfortunately, I'm normally a pleasant guy, but I wasn't very pleasant. So yeah, be sympathetic and empathetic. That's what we're saying to our team.
Absolutely. Graham, how should people be protecting themselves during the period of home working against anything from a sort of cyber security perspective?
Yeah, well, our people all trained. I mean, it's classic day one training is all about cyber security training anyway. But things are like working at home. Things we've seen is increase in phishing. So people getting stupid emails. Don't click the link. It's easy. If you don't recognize it, just don't click the link. And I think at home where people, even I'm doing it, alternating between work email and personal email, is, I'll just click that. And you've got to be very careful because you might be VPN'd into your own office. So very much be aware of that. We've seen potentially an increase in scamming on payment terms, where you might get an email now from a supplier saying, we've changed our bank account. Please pay all these, please use these new details. We've always been trained in this policy that anything like that, call the customer up or call the supplier up and say, did you send me this one? Because not half the time, but always be suspicious. Anybody changing bank account details. And the last one we saw more recently was quite fascinating, was we call it CEO or executive impersonation, where you will get a call saying, hey, it's a boss. I'm doing a special project. I'll send you an email in a minute. I just wanted you to understand it's going to be confidential. Alarm bell, absolute alarm bell. We've had a couple. Fortunately, we've got a great CEO. He's a real approachable guy, Olivier. So we actually call him. We ever get that. And we had one a couple of weeks back. You could have put it on a voice recognition. You would have sworn it was him.
Really?
Absolutely.
Really?
So be very, very careful. Basically, if it doesn't sound right, it's not right. So just be more aware, especially working at home when you can't even talk to your friend or your colleague. Did you get that one? So yeah, just be very, very hyper cautious.
Thanks for joining us and listening to another episode of our Channel Chat podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard and are listening on iTunes, please could you give us a review and subscribe in order to get the newest episodes as soon as they're released. Otherwise, as always, we release an episode every Thursday at midday, so hopefully you can join us then.